Here are some building tips using the new blocks from the 1.20.5 update. First, if you have a dead tree or a burnt down tree in your world, what you can do is use a bit of pale oak strip logs to give it that ashy feel. And you can also additionally, I know it's not related, but you can use spruce logs and dark oak logs for a subtle gradient. But the main thing here is that this thing adds a lot more texture to your build. It makes it look like it's ashed out, it's run down, and you could add a few in the air to make it look like the ashes are flying away. Additionally, you can also use pale moss to give it that dead look and mix it in with some moss to really sell the idea of it being a dead, burnt out, or burning tree. To spruce this up even more, you can use the pale oak logs as a more subtle gradient compared to the basalt pillars that we have or the polished basalt. This will give it that dying, almost dead. That gives it a more dead feeling, whereas this gives it a more, dying and gasping for air type of texture to the build. Additionally, you can use moss carpets to give it that nice hanging or, well, that overgrowth look because moss carpets tend to spawn with a bit of overgrowth that hooks onto blocks around it. Now we have a another subtle change to your existing builds. If you have any Greek or ancient Roman builds around your world, you can use the stripped pale oak log with with the quartz pillar to give it that nice finished feeling, and also add a bit more texture to the build. Next, if you have an existing terrain, moss patches work very well with grass patches, but to give it a bit more texture and dot around a bit more dead life, it will bring a lot to the build. You can see the pale moss carpets actually, they actually stick to the block and finish the gradient for you. You don't have to worry about using other blocks to make it feel a bit more uh, put together. You can simply just place blocks around the moss carpet and it will make the gradient itself. I wish the moss carpet did the same, but sadly this is the only carpet that actually sticks to other blocks. Next, if you have a dead garden or you plan to make a dead garden, you can really use the moss carpet, the pale moss with the existing moss blocks to really sell the idea. You can see here that moss carpets tend to spawn or tend to randomly generate two block high hanging, well, whatever you want to call it, creeping vines or whatever. These are solid blocks and you can't place anything on top of them. And if you break the top one, the bottom one stays, but if you break the bottom one, the entire carpet goes with it. And the carpet randomly spawns and it is not dependent on anything. The only thing it needs is a two block high gap. Three blocks don't work. You can see here, yeah, there we go. And also this saplings work very well with dead bushes because it almost gives it a withering away feeling as opposed to, let me show you, a sapling from cherry leaves. If we have a cherry sapling, you can see here that it's almost a transition from very lively and almost, and thriving to withering away and then just dead. So you can mix these two in to give it a more life, well, lesser life, but a more of a feeling of, overgrowth and death. Another thing you can do is use the new bushes that we have to blend it in with your existing wheat fields or whatever you have, because these look like cabbages from a distance. To really sell the idea on the cabbage front, you can actually hang them up or put them at a distance so that they look like a bunch of crops being harvested without having to till the ground and add water behind it. Your windowsills could really use this to make it a garden or a hanging garden. You can see that over here I use the same thing and it looks like cabbages and lettuce or whatever you want to call it, but it doesn't require any of the water or the tilling of the ground around it. Next, if you have a build with calcite, you can mix in the pale strip blocks. Yes, I love this block. It's a really nice white block and it blends in with most of the blocks in the game. You can see here, yeah, it goes really well with quartz and calcite and whatnot. I think it's a great game, a great addition to the game. So you can have nice checkerboard patterns for bigger builds, or if you have a smaller build, you can either sprinkle in some of the pale oak strip logs with the calcite, or you could opt for this, a checkerboard pattern on a smaller scale, using the same thing. And last but not least, yeah, I have no more ideas. This is all I had. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something from this. I can't wait to see, people use these techniques. These are all the blocks that were added. I could use most of them. This is a good block for blending in with other leaves. If you're planning to make a withered garden or a dead garden, because it's not completely the opposite, but it's not too close either. It's just that right, perfect green, grayish color. Also, these bushes they can also be used. These tall tall dry grass. Again, they can be used here because it's a nice. Again, coming back to the wonderful pale oak sapling, it's the middle ground between these two blocks. And on a smaller scale, it could also come after it. So that's all for today. My voice really hurts, and this is all I could do for now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe for new videos.